Part 1. The arrival and the strange night dusk was slowly falling. The sky had turned crimson, as if blood had spilled across the clouds. From the dusty window of an old bus heading toward a remote village, Mahi stared outside. He was 20, confident, mischievous, with a spark of curiosity in his eyes. Beside him sat his younger brother, Alanatin, restless and cautious, watching the strange scenery with growing unease. Brother, do you see that? The branches of those trees. They look like arms, reaching down toward us, Olin whispered, his voice trembling. Mahi chuckled. You always turn everything into ghosts. They're just trees swaying in the wind. But even Mahi could not deny the unsettling atmosphere. The landscape did not feel like any ordinary countryside. Twisted trees lined the road, dry shrubs clung to the ground, and somewhere far away, the cawing of crows echoed through the twilight. The bus screeched to a halt. The driver turned, his expression grim. This is where you get off, right? Your aunt's house is straight ahead. Mahi nodded, gathering their small bags. Just as they stepped down, the driver leaned closer, lowering his voice. Be careful. When night falls, that house. Strange things happen there. We villagers know. Olin stiffened. What do you mean? What things? But the driver didn't reply. He struck a match, lit a cigarette, and drove the bus away, leaving only the fading roar of its engine behind. The road ahead was nearly swallowed by darkness. Only the last glow of dusk lit their way. The air felt unnaturally cold, far colder than it should have been for that season. Olin rubbed his arms nervously. Mahi. Something's wrong with this path. It doesn't feel right. Mahi placed a reassuring hand on his brother's shoulder. Stop imagining things. Once we reach Aunt's place, everything will be fine. But when they finally reached the gates, even Mahi fell silent. The house loomed before them, an enormous two-story mansion made of red bricks. Its walls cracked, its windows broken. Weeds grew wild across the courtyard, and vines dangled like ropes from the walls. The place looked abandoned, as if no human had lived there for decades. Standing at the doorway was their Aunt Nen. Her face broke into a weary smile, though her eyes were sunken with dark circles. Come in, children. It's been so long since I last saw you. Olin rushed forward to greet her, touching her feet respectfully. But Mahi's eyes lingered on the darkness within the house. From somewhere inside, he felt eyes, watching. Part 2. Restless silence. The mansion never truly slept. Even in broad daylight, its walls seemed to breathe, as though the stones remembered every scream, every whisper. After the second night of strange noises, Mahi and Olin woke with heavy eyes. Aunt Nandine had already left for the village temple, leaving them alone in the vast, echoing house. Olin sat by the window, staring at the courtyard. The well loomed in the middle, shrouded in a morning mist that refused to burn away. It called to me, he said softly. Last night it called my name. Mahi, brushing his teeth, muttered, You were dreaming. Olin's head snapped around. I wasn't. You heard it too, didn't you? The footsteps, the lantern flickering. Mahi stayed quiet. He had no answer. Deep inside, he knew his brother wasn't imagining things. The pole of the well. Later that morning, the boys wandered back into the courtyard. Mahi wanted to prove his courage. Olin followed reluctantly. The well seemed deeper in the daylight, its mouth a black hole swallowing sunlight. Weeds clung to its edges like skeletal hands. Mahi picked up a pebble. Watch, nothing to fear. He tossed it inside. They waited. Seconds passed. No sound returned. That's not possible. Mahi frowned. Even if it's dry, there should be an echo. Olin stepped back, clutching his arms. It's endless. Like it leads somewhere else. And then just for a moment they both heard it. A faint murmur rising from below. Not words at first, only the suggestion of sound. Then clearer. Help me. Olin staggered back. You heard it too. Mahi's lips pressed tight. He had heard it, and for the first time he couldn't deny it. At that exact moment. A crow perched on the well's edge let out a shrill cry. Its wings flapped violently as if trying to escape something unseen. Then it dropped dead. Falling at their feet, the brothers froze. The courtyard fell silent again. Nandini's anger when Aunt Nandini returned. She found them pale and shaken. The dead crow still lay in the dust. Her face hardened. I warned you. She cried, grabbing Olin by the shoulders. Never near the well. But it spoke. Olin burst out. It begged for help. Nandini's eyes glistened with a mixture of fear and sorrow. She lowered her voice. That voice is not a soul in need. It is a trap. He calls to lure the weak. If you listen too long, you won't return to yourself. Who is he? Mahi demanded. Nandini looked toward the portrait hanging in the hall. The stern-eyed ancestor glared down at them from cracked canvas. She whispered. A forbidden history that evening. After supper, Nandine finally sat with them near the kitchen fire. Her face was weary, as if she carried a burden too long kept hidden. Your great-granduncle was once master of this house, she began. His name was Arjun Malik. People feared him, not for his wealth, but for his cruelty. He dealt in black rights, hungry for power. Villagers vanished. Some said he offered them to the well. The boys shivered. One night the people rose against him. They dragged his body here after his death, hoping to burn it. But every flame died when it touched him. Terrified, they sealed him into the well instead, binding it with mantras and blood. They thought he would sleep forever. Her voice cracked. But a spirit like his never rests. He calls, century after century, seeking release. Mahi's fists clenched. Then why do you live here? Because someone must guard it, Nandini said bitterly. If left alone, the seal will weaken faster. Already. It weakens. Nightfall again. That night, Mahi and Olin lay awake. The wind outside had picked up, whistling through the cracks in the shutters. Their lamp flickered, shadows stretching unnaturally long across the walls. Olin whispered. If the seal is breaking, does that mean he'll come out? Mahi didn't answer. He was staring at the door. For the last few minutes, the handle had been rattling softly. Not loudly, just a faint, persistent tremor. Then came the whisper again. Mahi Olin. Open the door. The voice was not Nandini's. It was deeper, layered, as though many throats spoke at once. Olin clutched his blanket. He knows our names. The handle twisted harder now, shaking violently. The wooden door groaned suddenly. 3 loud knocks reverberated through the room. Bang, bang, bang. The lamp blew out. Darkness swallowed them. The shattering quiet for a moment. Neither brother breathed. The silence that followed the knocks was thicker than the dark itself. It pressed against their eardrums, a silence so total it rang. Olin buried his face into Mahi's arm. Don't open it, he whispered, barely audible. Mahi's heartbeat pounded in his throat. He wanted to say something reassuring, but his lips wouldn't obey. His eyes fixed on the door, still trembling in its frame as though invisible fingers lingered there. Then scraping. Long, dragging scratches against the wood, slow and deliberate. Like nails carving a warning. Or a promise. The boys shrank back onto their bed, and just as suddenly, it stopped. The silence returned. Olin sobbed quietly into the pillow, and Mahi forced himself to reach for the matches on the bedside. His hand shook so violently the first 2 broke. Finally, a spark caught, and he relit the lamp. Its glow was feeble, as though even fire resisted illuminating the room. Nothing moved. The door was still. But the scratches remained etched deep, fresh grooves that had not been there before. Aunt Nandini's warning at dawn. Nandini found them huddled together, eyes red with sleeplessness. When they showed her the scratches, her face turned the color of ash. You must not answer him, she said, voice trembling. No matter what he promises, no matter whose voice he wears. Once the seal weakens enough to let him through doors, it will be too late. But he already knows us, Olin said miserably. He called our names. Nandini grabbed their hands, gripping tighter than either expected from her frail frame. That is how he hunts. He listens to your fears, your thoughts. He twists them. The moment you believe him just once he'll claim you. Mahi looked down at the scratches. Then how do we stop him? Her eyes filled with tears she refused to let fall. We can't. All we can do is endure until the festival of lights. That is when the temple priests come. They will renew the seal. And until then, Mahi pressed. Nandina's voice broke. Until then, we pray. The mirror in the hall that afternoon, the house felt heavier. The walls seemed to lean inward, the corridors darker than the oil lamps allowed. Mahi, restless, wandered alone into the long hallway lined with portraits. The air grew colder the further he walked, until his breath fogged. He paused before the grand mirror at the corridor's end. It was framed in tarnished silver, its surface dim with dust. He raised a hand to wipe it clean, then froze. His reflection did not move. For a heartbeat. Mahi stared at his unmoving twin in the glass. The figure smiled slowly, though Mahi himself did not. Its teeth were far too many, far too sharp. Asterisk, do you want to be strong, Mahi? The reflection whispered, lips twisting without sound but words blooming inside his mind. I can make you stronger than her. Stronger than him. Stronger than anyone. Mahi stumbled back, the reflection's hand pressed against the glass from within, stretching unnaturally long fingers against the barrier. All you have to do is say yes. Asterisk, Mahi. Olin's voice echoed down the hall. Asterisk, the reflection's grin widened. He is weak. He will not survive, but you. You could be my heir. Asterisk, Mahi turned and ran, dragging Olin with him before the mirror could speak again. The whisper in Olin's ear, asterisk, that night. Olin Dreamdoor thought he did. He was standing at the edge of the well, the courtyard swallowed by mist. The surface of the black water below rippled as though something massive moved beneath. Asterisk, then the voice came again. Not booming this time, but soft. Almost gentle. Asterisk, Olin, it crooned, why do you let your brother mock you? He doesn't believe you. He thinks you're weak, afraid. But I believe you. I can protect you. Asterisk, Olin shook his head, pressing his hands to his ears. You're lying. Asterisk, no. I was once a boy like you, trapped, forgotten. I know what it is to be afraid. Help me, and I will help you. Just look down. Against his will, Olin's eyes flicked toward the well. Two pale hands rose from the darkness, dripping black water, reaching. Asterisk, Olin, don't. A different voice cut through. Asterisk, he spun. Nandine stood across the courtyard, torch blazing. Wake up. She screamed. Wake up now. The world shattered. Olin sat bolt upright in bed, gasping, drenched in sweat. The faint smell of smoke lingered in the air. Though their room was unbuilt. Asterisk, across from him, Mahi slept uneasily, lips moving as though whispering to someone unseen. The ancestors return. Asterisk, the following evening, a storm gathered over the mansion. Wind howled through the shutters, and the first drops of rain spattered against the roof tiles. Asterisk, Nandine lit incense and placed protective chalk marks along the doorframes. Her chants filled the air, though her voice cracked with exhaustion. Asterisk, the boys sat close, pretending to read, but their eyes darted to every shadow. Asterisk, then came a sound none of them expected. The heavy creak of the front doors. They swung open on their own. Cold rain swept into the hall, carrying with it a figure. Tall, cloaked and dripping black, face obscured. He stepped onto the threshold, leaving no footprints on the wet floor. Asterisk, Nandini's chanting faltered. No, she whispered. Not yet. The figure raised his head. The stern features of Arjun Malik stared back at them, the same as the portrait. Only alive, eyes glowing with molten gold. Asterisk, you sealed me, his voice boomed. Layered and inhuman. But blood remembers blood. And blood cannot bind itself. Mahi and Olin clutched each other. Arjun's gaze fell upon them, and his lips curled into a predatory smile. Asterisk, my heirs, he said, at last. Part 3. Bloods claim the storm within. Asterisk, the storm outside raged like a furious beast, wind clawing at the shutters, thunder splitting the sky. Inside, The mansion seemed to throb with the same rhythm as the boys' hearts. The intruder no, the ancestor stood drenched but untouched by rain. His form blurring between flesh and shadow. Nandine rose shakily, clutching her prayer beads. You have no claim here, Arjun Malik, she said, though her voice trembled. The priests bound you. You are cursed. Arjun's laughter cracked like lightning. Cursed. No. Preserved. You think your fragile words of fire can hold me forever. His glowing eyes slid back to the brothers. The seal breaks because their blood runs close to mine. They are the key. Through them, I will walk free. Mahai's jaw tightened. We're not like you. Arjun tilted his head. Not yet. He raised a hand, and the lamps in the hall extinguished all at once, plunging the room into darkness. Only his molten eyes gleamed. Shadows in the bloodline. The boys and Nandini fled toward the inner chambers, but every corridor twisted upon itself. The mansion no longer obeyed the logic of walls and doors. Staircases curved into endless loops, and windows opened only onto black void. Olin stumbled, panic rising in his chest. We're trapped. Hush. Nandine hissed, dragging him close. She traced quick symbols onto his forehead with ash from the incense bowl. Then she did the same to Mahi. Stay behind me. Don't answer him. No matter whose voice he takes. Arjun's laughter slithered through the halls. Dear sister, you cling to chance and ashes like a child clutching toys. Did you tell them the truth? That you guard me not for the village, but because you fear my wrath if left unchained. Nandini froze, her knuckles whitening around the beads. What does he mean? Mahi demanded. She shook her head. Lies, every word, but her eyes glistened with shame, and doubt crept into the brothers' hearts. The air grew colder. Olin swore he felt fingers brush his hair. Though no one stood behind him, the hall of portraits they burst into the gallery again. The rows of ancestors' portraits staring down. But the faces in the paintings had changed. No longer stern and distant, they now wept black tears. Some smiled with grotesque hunger, mouths splitting wider than the canvas could contain. One painting Argent's had bled out of its frame entirely. The canvas hung in tatters, and from it, a figure stepped down, skin stitched with shadows. Your family welcomes you home, Arjun said, his form now towering, stretching to the ceiling. They too long for freedom. The portraits groaned in chorus, voices overlapping in a mournful wail. The sound drilled into the boys' skulls. Olin clapped his hands over his ears, tears streaming. Mahi grabbed his brother and shouted above the cacophony, "Don't listen. Look at me." For a moment, Olin's gaze locked on his brother's, and the noise dulled. But Arjun's whisper pierced directly into his mind. Mahi doubts you. He thinks you're weak. Let me in, and I'll make you strong enough to protect him. Olin's knees buckled. His lips trembled. The word, yes, forming silently before he bit down hard to stop it. The chamber below, Nandine forced open a hidden door at the gallery's end, revealing a narrow staircase spiraling downward. The scent of damp stone and rust wafted up. This way, she commanded, shoving the boys ahead. Asterisk, they descended into a chamber beneath the mansion. Here, the walls were carved with faded mantras, circles of ash and blood long dried. In the center yawned a smaller, sealed pit-tan echo of the well above. Asterisk, this is where the binding was done, Nandine whispered, lighting small oil lamps set into alcoves. The priests marked this place to hold him. If we can awaken the wards, it may slow him until help comes. Asterisk, Mahi swallowed hard. How? Asterisk, blood, she said simply, not meeting their eyes. The blood of his line strengthens the seal. Both brothers stiffened. Arjun's voice thundered through the chamber, though his body had not followed. Yes. Let them bleed. That is all I need. Their veins carry my strength. The seal will drink it and so will I. Asterisk, the ground shook violently. Dust rained from the ceiling. The temptation asterisk, the lamps flickered. Olin backed away from the pit, shaking his head. No, I won't do it. He wants us to asterisk. Nandini caught his hand. Listen to me, child. A drop, no more. Enough to renew the circle. Not for him, for us. But her words tangled with Arjun's. Poor boy, the spirit cooed. She asks you to bleed because she fears her own. She has no power without you. But I would never use you. I would make you whole. Imagine never again afraid. Never again small. Asterisk, Olin's chest heaved. He turned desperately to Mahi. What if he's right? What if she's been lying? Asterisk, Mahi grabbed his shoulders. Ollie, look at me. Do you trust me? Asterisk, tears brimmed in Olin's eyes. I don't know anymore. Asterisk, the stone floor split with a deafening crack. A black hand surged from the pit, groping blindly. Asterisk, Nandini screamed a chant and slashed her palm with a blade, pressing her blood to the carvings. The symbols glowed faintly, holding the hand at bay. Asterisk, do it. She cried to the boys. Quickly. The splintering choice, asterisk, Mahi snatched the blade. His eyes darted between the pit, his aunt, and his brother. Olin's face was pale, caught between terror and something darker longing. Asterisk, if we do this, Olin whispered, are we helping her? Or him? Asterisk, the chamber rumbled. The hand clawed higher, dragging more of Arjun's shadowy form into view. His burning eyes opened within the pit. Asterisk, you already belong to me, he said softly. One cut, one drop, and you are mine. Asterisk, Mahi lifted the blade. His hand shook. Olin reached for it too. For one terrible moment, neither let go. Asterisk, blood whose blood would feed the seal. Part for the blood seal, the first cut. Asterisk, the chamber groaned, as if the mansion itself leaned closer to witness. The blade trembled between the brothers' hands, its edge catching the faint glow of the wards. Asterisk, decide. Arjun's voice rippled, deep and layered. One of you bleeds, or both of you are mine. Asterisk, Olin's grip tightened. His eyes shimmered with confusion and fear, but also with a dangerous spark of temptation. Maybe he's right, Mahi. Maybe this is how we end it. Asterisk, Mahi's heart hammered. He saw the way his brother's gaze lingered on the pit, drawn to the molten eyes gleaming within. If Olin yielded, it would not strengthen the seal, it would break it. Asterisk, with a cry. Mahi tore the blade free and slashed his own palm. Blood welled instantly. He pressed it against the carvings before hesitation could creep in. The mantras ignited, glowing red like fresh embers. The black hand recoiled, smoke hissing where the wards burned it. Arjun roared, the chamber vibrating with his fury. Fool, you give of yourself, and still I drink. Every drop ties you to me. Mahi staggered, his knees buckling as dizziness washed over him. He tasted iron on his tongue, though he had not cut his mouth. The well was drinking more than his blood. It was pulling at his spirit. A brother's betrayal. Olin caught him before he fell. For a moment, guilt flashed across his face. But then the whisper slid back into his thoughts, smooth and poisonous. See. He weakens himself. You could be stronger. Strong enough to save him, if you choose me. Olin looked at his brother, pale and swaying, and his lips trembled. Mahi, maybe if I just give a little, maybe it'll balance. No. Mahi croaked, gripping his arm with surprising strength. That's what he wants. Arjun's laughter cracked the stones. How long will you carry him, Olin? How long will you be the weaker one? Let me in, and you will protect him better than he ever could protect you. Olin shut his eyes, shaking his head violently, but the temptation lingered. Nandini's secret. Nandini's chants grew ragged. Blood dripped from her palm too, but the wards were flickering, fighting to hold. She collapsed against the wall, gasping. Mahi turned to her, desperation raw in his voice. Why us? Why is it always us? Her face crumpled. Because you were never meant to come here. I begged your mother not to send you. This house. It is a cage built around a monster. But every generation, he calls strongest to those who share his blood. You knew, Mahi said, betrayal heavy in his tone. You knew he'd come for us. I hoped the seal would hold, she whispered. I prayed you'd be safe. But now? Her voice broke. Now only you can decide. The spirits reach the pit split wider, cracks racing through the chamber floor. Arjun's torso emerged, black and shimmering like oil, though his face remained eerily human. His eyes burned holes through the boys. Why fight? He murmured, almost tender. I do not want to destroy you. I want to raise you. Kings, both of you, eternal, worshipped. The words pressed into their skulls, heavy and honeyed. Mahi felt his resolve slip, the promise of strength coiling like a serpent in his gut. But then he remembered the way life had dropped from its body in a heartbeat. He imagined Olin's body crumpling the same way, hollowed of soul. He spat on the floor. Will never be yours. Arjun's smile widened, too wide for his face. Then watch as I take what you love most. The shadow hand shot forward, not at Mahi, but at Olin. The struggle. Olin screamed as the fingers wrapped around his torso, cold sinking into his skin. The shadows pulled, dragging him toward the pit. Mahi lunged, seizing his brother's arms. His muscles strained, tendons burning as he fought the pull. I won't let go. Olin's eyes filled with terror and something else. In the golden glow of Arjun's gaze, he saw the future offered. Power, freedom, no longer being the weaker one. For an instant, his grip on Mahi slackened. No. Mahi roared, slamming his bleeding hand harder into the carvings. The wards flared painfully bright. Smoke hissed where they touched the shadow. The hand recoiled, releasing Olin with a furious shriek. Both boys collapsed onto the stone floor, gasping. Arjun's molten eyes narrowed. So be it. If blood will not join me willingly, then blood will be spilled. The shattering of the seal *, the chamber walls buckled, cymbals cracking. Nandini dragged herself upright, voice hoarse, as she cried out one last mantra. The carvings blazed, sealing the pit shut for a moment. But the mansion above groaned violently. A chandelier crashed somewhere in the halls. Plaster rained from the ceiling. The storm outside tore shutters from their hinges. It won't hold, Nandini rasped. We must reach the temple. Only the priests, only their fire can bind him again. Mahi helped Olin up, though his brother's legs shook like reeds. But how? Olin asked, voice breaking. They'll follow. Nandini's face hardened. Then you must run faster than his shadows. The pit below cracked again, a roar echoing from its depths. The flight they bolted up the spiraling stairs, the chamber collapsing behind them. Shadows licked at their heels, stretching like claws. The house itself twisted in protest. Corridors bending into endless loops. But Nandini led with uncanny certainty, chanting under her breath as she marked the walls with her blood. The passages shifted reluctantly, grudgingly letting them through. Don't stop, she shouted, even as her body trembled. Behind them. Arjun's laughter thundered, closer with every step. The portraits shrieked, their eyes bleeding black. The floorboards rippled like water. Olin stumbled, and Mahi yanked him up. Run. At last. The front doors loomed ahead, blown wide open by the storm. Beyond them, the temple's lights flickered faintly on the hill. Freedom if they could reach it. The threshold they burst into the rain-soaked courtyard. Lightning split the sky, illuminating the well. Its waters boiled black, steam rising in shapes like grasping faces. Arjun's form surged up from it, enormous shadow wings unfurling. He towered over the mansion, his voice shaking the earth. You think you can flee me? You are mine by blood. The ground split, jagged fissures racing toward the boys' feet. They leaped across, mud splashing. The temple's bells rang faintly in the storm-distant hope. But fragile. Nandini pushed them ahead, even as the shadows closed in. Go, she screamed. Don't look back. But Mahi did, and in that instant, he saw Arjun's gaze fixed not on him, but on Olin. The smile that spread across the spirit's face was slow. Certain, inevitable, you, Arjun, whispered through the storm. You were always mine. Part 5. The chase to the temple, the flight through rain, the storm raged like a living thing, lashing the boys with sheets of rain as they sprinted across the courtyard. Mud clung to their ankles, sucking at every step. Above them, lightning clawed the sky, illuminating Arjun's vast silhouette, unfurling from the well like a beast unchained. Olin stumbled again, breath ragged. Mahi tightened his grip on his brother's wrist, dragging him forward. Don't stop. Just run. Behind them, Nandini struggled to keep pace, her voice raw from chanting. Sparks of ward fire flickered around her hands, dying as quickly as they lit. She was burning herself out. The temple bells tolled faintly on the hill, blurred by distance and storm. The sound should have brought comfort, but to Mahi it felt fragile, like a candle sputtering in the dark. The predator's voice, Arjun's laughter, rolled across the fields. Run, little heirs. The temple's fire is weak. Your priests grow old and foolish. They cannot hold me forever. His shadow surged over the courtyard walls, stretching across the wet ground. Hands formed in the darkness, clawing upward, reaching for the boy's ankles. Olin screamed as one brushed his leg. The cold sank deep, bone-deep, draining warmth. For a heartbeat, he faltered, eyes glassy. Don't fight it. The whisper came, soft, intimate. I can carry you. No more pain, no more running. Just strength. Olin slowed, the storm fading from his awareness. The temple's bells distant. Mahi yanked him hard. Ali, stay with me. The voice receded, but not entirely. It lingered, promising, waiting. Nandini's sacrifice. They reached the outer gates of the mansion grounds, half collapsed with age. Beyond lay the forest path, twisting toward the hill temple. But Arjun's form towered above, blotting out the lightning. He raised both arms, and the gates slammed shut with a sound like thunder, iron rust groaning. The shadows thickened, forming a barrier. Nandine staggered forward, pressing her bloodied palm against the gate. She whispered words that tore her throat raw. The carvings on her prayer beads glowed faintly, pulsing in rhythm with her heartbeat. Go. She rasped, forcing the barrier to thin, just enough for the boys to squeeze through. I'll hold him back. No, Mahi cried. We can't leave you. Her eyes, fierce despite exhaustion, locked on his. This is my duty. Yours is to live. Run. Before either brother could argue, the ground heaved. Arjun's shadow hand swept down. Nandini turned, chanting one last mantra. The hand struck her full force. There was a flash of light. A scream swallowed by thunder. And when the boys blinked, she was gone. The forest of whispers. The brothers stumbled into the forest path, mud and roots tangling their steps. The trees loomed unnaturally tall, their branches writhing like serpents in the wind. Every gust carried voices. Some were their parents calling. Some were Nandina's, some were their own, echoing back at them in tones twisted and wrong. Why do you fight me, Ma? Whispered one wind. You've already given me blood. You are half mine. Another brushed Olin's ear. You could save him, you know. He won't last. But I can make you strong enough. Just say yes. Olin pressed his hands to his ears. Stop it. Stop. Mahi grabbed his arm, shaking him. Don't listen. They're lies. But deep down, he feared they weren't lies at all. The hill of fire through the lashing storm, the temple's torches finally came into view. Their flames sputtered against the rain, yet they burned with stubborn defiance. Figures moved in the glow priests already waiting. The bells rang louder now, urgent, summoning. Mahi's chest surged with hope. We're almost there. Just hold on. But as they crested the hill's base, the earth split open behind them. Arjun's form erupted, now towering like a black titan. His wings stretched across the sky, blotting out the moon. Do you think fire can save you? His voice thundered. I was born of fire, and I consumed it. You are mine by blood, by right, by eternity. His shadow hand shot forward, faster than before. Latching around Olin's waist, Olin screamed, his body lifted off the ground. His fingers slipped from Mahi's grip. The brother's choice, Mahi leaped, catching Olin's arm with both hands. The pole nearly wrenched his shoulders from their sockets, but he refused to let go. Olin dangled between them, brother's hand above, ancestor's grip below. His body stretched taut, torn between two worlds. Mahi, let go, Olin cried, tears streaming down his face. He'll take you too. I won't. Mahi shouted, his voice breaking. I'll never let you go. Arjun's whisper cut in, cold and seductive. Let him fall, boy. You can't save him. You'll both be dragged down. But if you release him, I will spare you. You will live. Stronger than ever. Mahi's grip tightened, nails digging into Olin's wrist. Shut up. But then Olin's own voice trembled. Maybe he's right. I don't want you to die for me. If one of us has to. No. Mahi roared, pulling with everything left in him. For a heartbeat, it seemed he might win. But Arjun's strength was endless. The shadow coiled higher, creeping up Olin's body, swallowing him inch by inch. His eyes fluttered, golden light seeping into them as the ancestor's voice filled his head. Say yes, Olin, say yes. And the pain ends. Olin's lips parted. The priest's fire at that exact moment. A chorus of voices rose from the temple. The priests had formed a circle, torches raised. Their chants cut through the storm, rhythmic and unyielding. Flames leaped higher, weaving into a great wall of fire around the hilltop. The air hummed with power, heavy and electric. Arjun snarled, recoiling slightly as the fire's light touched him. Smoke hissed from his form. Mahi felt the pull weaken for the briefest moment. With a cry, he heaved upward, dragging Olin free of the shadow's grip. Both collapsed onto the wet earth, gasping. The priest's fire surged brighter, forcing Arjun back a step. But his eyes blazed with fury. This is not the end, he roared, his voice shaking the storm itself. Blood remembers blood, and you will remember me. With that, his form collapsed into shadow, retreating toward the mansion. The well boiled once more, then fell still. After the storm the storm began to break. Rain softened to a drizzle. The bells slowed the priests rushed to the brothers, helping them upright. One pressed herbs to Mahi's bleeding palm, another steadied Olin, who shook uncontrollably. You were brave, the head priest said gravely. But the seal is cracked deeper than before. He grows stronger each time. Mahi nodded weakly, his eyes drifting to his brother. Olin's face was pale, his eyes haunted. For though Arjun had retreated, the golden flicker had not fully left Olin's gaze. The priests didn't notice. But Mahi did. And in that moment, he realized the battle was far from over. Part 6 The mark within the temple's shelter. The temple air was thick with incense, smoke curling toward the high rafters. Oil lamps lined the walls, their flames steady despite the lingering storm outside. For the first time in days, the boys were not surrounded by shadows. Yet peace did not reach them. Mahi sat cross-legged on a reed mat, his injured palm wrapped in herbs and cloth. He tried to slow his breathing, but his eyes kept darting to Olin across the chamber. His brother sat unnaturally still. Too still, the priests had given Olin warm milk, but he hadn't touched it. His gaze lingered on the flames, pupils catching the light until they seemed to glow faintly gold. Mahi's stomach twisted. The priest's verdict. The head priest, a stooped man, with a beard white as ash, approached them. He studied their faces with heavy eyes. You've endured much, he said. But the struggle has only begun. The seal will be renewed at dawn. Until then, you must not sleep. Why? Mahi asked. Because he comes strongest in dreams, the priest replied. He will try to claim you there, when your guard is lowest. His gaze shifted to Olin, especially you. Olin's head snapped up. Why me? The priest did not answer directly. Instead, he laid a hand on Olin's shoulder. His fingers trembled slightly. Stay close to the fire, child. Do not wander. Olin jerked away from his touch. The whisper that lingers that night. The temple felt both sacred and fragile. The boys sat with the priests around the great central brazier, its flames licking upward, casting long shadows. The chants of the monks formed a low, constant hum, protection woven through sound. But even there, Mahi heard it. The faintest hiss, like steam rising from stone. The voice that refused to die. I am inside him now. Mahi's head whipped around. None of the priests reacted. Olin was staring into the fire, lips moving silently. He will open the door for me, the whisper continued. Whether he knows it or not. Mahi's fists clenched. He forced himself not to shout, not to draw the priest's suspicion toward his brother. But the thought gnawed at him. Was Olin still Olin? A brother's fear. Later, when the chants paused for a brief rest, Mahi pulled Olin aside. Oli, he whispered urgently. You have to tell me the truth. Do you still hear him? Olin's jaw tightened. For a long moment, he said nothing. Then, quietly, sometimes, Mahi's stomach dropped. What does he say? That you don't trust me, Olin muttered, eyes fixed on the floor. That you'll always think I'm weak. That if I were stronger, none of this would have happened. That's not true. It is, Olin snapped, louder than he meant to. The priests turned their heads briefly, but when Olin lowered his voice again, they returned to their chants. You've always protected me. Always dragged me along. I'm tired of being the one who slows you down. Asterisk Mahi grabbed his shoulders. I don't care if you're weak or strong. You're my brother. That's all that matters. Asterisk for a flicker, Olin's eyes softened. But then the gold shimmer returned, faint but unmistakable. He pulled away. Asterisk, you don't understand, he whispered. He's not just outside anymore, he's in me. The cracks in the fire. Asterisk, as the night deepened, the storm outside finally faded. The world grew eerily calm. The priests redoubled their chants, pouring ghee into the fire, raising flames higher, but with every surge, Olin flinched. At first, Mahi thought it was the smoke. Then he noticed the way Olin's skin seemed to ripple faintly in the glow, as though shadows slithered just beneath it. Asterisk, one of the younger priests, noticed too. His eyes widened, and he leaned toward the head priest, whispering urgently. Asterisk, the head priest's face grew grim. The spirit has left a mark, he said at last. It festers inside him. Asterisk, Mahi rose to his feet. Then cleanse it. You said the fire. Asterisk. It is not so simple, the priest interrupted. If we drive it out too forcefully, the boy may not survive. The darkness may cling tighter to him than his own soul. Asterisk, Olin's voice cut through, sharper than usual. Stop talking like I'm not here. He stood, fists clenched. His shadow against the wall twisted in the wrong direction, bending away from the fire. Maybe I don't want it gone. The room fell silent. The temptation deepens. The flames flared suddenly, reacting to Olin's words. The shadow on the wall stretched higher, its head morphing into something not human. Asterisk, Olin. Mahi cried. Asterisk, but his brother only stared into the fire, eyes glowing faintly. His voice dropped, almost unrecognizable. What if he's right? What if I'd be stronger with him? What if I could protect us both? Asterisk, you don't need him, Mahi shouted. You're strong enough. Asterisk, am I? Olin's voice cracked, caught between despair and temptation. Every time, you're the one who saves me. What if this time, I save you? Asterisk, the brazier fire guttered, dimming. The priests began to chant louder, circling closer, but their fear was palpable. Asterisk, the head priest raised his staff, pressing it to Olin's forehead. The boy flinched violently, staggering back. Smoke hissed where the staff touched his skin. Asterisk, Arjun's voice slipped from Olin's lips, deeper and layered. You cannot burn me out. He is mine. The fire shuddered lower. Mahi's plea. Mahi lunged forward, wrapping his arms around his brother. He pressed his bleeding palm to Olin's chest, ignoring the sting. You're not his. You hear me? You're my brother. Mine. Asterisk, for a heartbeat, Olin's body writhed, caught between shadows and fire. His eyes flickered between gold and brown. His voice shifted between his own and Arjun's. Asterisk, Mahi. Olin gasped, face contorting. I can't hold him. Asterisk, yes, you can. Mahi pressed harder, tears streaking his face. Because you're not weak. You've never been weak. You're the strongest person I know. Asterisk, the shadows stilled. Olin blinked, his gaze clearing briefly, but deep inside, something laughed. Even love will not save him. He is mine already. Asterisk, the brazier fire sputtered, threatening to die. The priests cried out, scrambling to feed it. But their fear was naked. Asterisk, and in the center of the temple. Mahi clung to his brother, uncertain whether he had saved him or only delayed the inevitable. The dawn that doesn't save, asterisk. The first light of dawn crept through the temple's open doors. The storm had passed. The air smelled of wet earth and smoke. Asterisk. The priests raised their hands together, voices rising in the final binding chant. The flames leaped high one last time, searing the air with heat. Asterisk. Then it was done. The seal, they declared, was renewed. The boys were safe. But Mahi saw what the priests didn't. Olin's eyes flashing gold for the briefest instant as the fire died down. Asterisk. The ancestor had not been banished. He had simply found a new home. Asterisk. Part 7. Asterisk. Asterisk. The brother who isn't the return home. The mansion's gates groaned as Aunt Nandine pushed them open. The storm had washed the dust from the courtyard, leaving everything damp and shining. The air smelled clean, but the house itself loomed darker than before, as though resentful of their return. Asterisk. Mahi carried their bundle of clothes. Olin walked ahead of him, too quickly, his shoulders stiff. He hadn't spoken much since dawn. Asterisk. Nandine noticed. Her eyes lingered on Olin's back, lips pressed tight. She whispered to Mahi when Olin stepped inside first, "Keep watch over him. The seal binds Arjun's prison, not his touch. If the spirit has tasted him..." Asterisk. Mahi swallowed hard. "He won't take my brother." But Nandini did not look convinced. Shadows that follow the house felt unchanged, yet wrong. Every corridor seemed longer. Every stair creaked too loud. That night, as they prepared for bed, Mahi caught Olin's reflection in the cracked mirror. Asterisk. It wasn't the reflection itself that chilled him, it was the delay. Olin turned his head a full second before the mirror self followed. Asterisk. Mahi blinked, heart pounding. When he looked again, the reflection was normal. Asterisk. Olin smirked faintly. "What's wrong, Dada? Seeing ghosts already?" Asterisk. Mahi forced a laugh, but his chest tightened. That wasn't Olin's humor. It was sharper, colder. Nandini's warning. Asterisk. The next day, Nandini sat them down in the prayer room. A lamp burned before the altar, the smoke curling upward like a thin tether of hope. Asterisk. She spoke slowly, carefully, as though each word carried weight. "Arjun does not possess like a demon. He whispers until you cannot tell which voice is yours." Asterisk. Her gaze locked on Olin. "If he stirs inside you, you must fight him. Do not let him claim your name." Asterisk. Olin's lips twitched. He didn't answer. Asterisk. Mahi did instead. "He'll fight. I'll make sure of it." Asterisk. But even as he said it, he saw Olin's shadow stretch across the floor, longer than either lamp or sunlight should allow. A brother's shift. Asterisk. The days dragged. At first, the changes were small. Olin stopped eating with them, saying he wasn't hungry. He woke in the middle of the night and wandered the halls barefoot, leaving damp footprints even when the floors were dry. Asterisk. He spoke less, and when he did, his voice sometimes echoed faintly, as if spoken by more than one mouth. Asterisk. Mahi tried to reach him. Asterisk. Remember when we used to sneak mangoes from Uncle's orchard? Mahi asked one evening, forcing a smile. Asterisk. Olin tilted his head. "I remember. Hunger. and punishment. The stick on my back, asterisk Mahi froze. That's not how it happened. Asterisk a grin spread across Olin's face. Not his grin. Memory bends, brother. Perhaps you forget. Mahi turned away, bile rising in his throat. The first sign of violence one morning, Mahi found the family cat stiff and lifeless in the courtyard. Its fur was slick with dew, but its body was twisted unnaturally, as though something had wrung it out like cloth. Asterisk. Olin crouched beside it, stroking its cold fur. His eyes glittered with strange amusement. Asterisk, it was weak, he murmured. All creatures die. I just helped it along. Asterisk Mahi's breath caught. You, what did you do? Asterisk Olin looked up, smile razor sharp. Maybe nothing. Maybe everything. Does it matter? Asterisk Mahi wanted to shout, to grab him, to shake sense back into him. But instead he whispered, this isn't you. Maybe this is the real me, Olin said softly. The diary that night. Desperate for answers, Mahi crept into the old study. Dust coated the shelves, but in a locked drawer he found it. A leather-bound book. Cracked with age, Arjun's diary. The pages were filled with rituals. Diagrams of circles and wells. Words scrawled in blood-red ink. One passage chilled him most. Asterisk, the blood of kin is the strongest tether. Through the youngest, I will rise. Through his mouth, I will speak. Through his body, I will walk again. Asterisk, Mahi's stomach twisted. Olin, it had always been Olin. Asterisk, he slammed the book shut, chest heaving. But from the doorway, a voice drawled, asterisk, reading my thoughts. Olin stood there, golden eyes glinting in the dark. The confrontation. Mahi hid the diary behind his back. It's not yours. Asterisk Olin stepped closer, slow and deliberate. It will be. Every word. Every curse. You can't stop it. Asterisk, I'll save you, Mahi snapped, voice breaking. Even if it kills me. Asterisk Olin's grin widened. For an instant, his face shimmered not his own, but the stern, cruel visage from the portrait in the hall, Arjun's. Asterisk, then you'll fail, Olin said. His voice carried two tones now, weaving in and out, like snake hiss and thunder. Because he's already inside. And he likes it here. Asterisk Mahi's chest ached. He wanted to believe his brother was still in there, somewhere. But each word made it harder. Nandini's decision, asterisk that night. Nandini summoned Mahi to the prayer room. Her face was drawn, her hands trembling. Asterisk, we must bind him, she whispered. Olin is too far gone. If Arjun consumes him fully, the house and the village will fall. Asterisk Mahi shook his head violently. No, he's my brother. He's still in there. Asterisk, he is slipping away, Nandini said, eyes wet. The longer you wait, the stronger Arjun becomes. If we strike now, we may still save the world, Evan, if not the boy. Asterisk, Mahi staggered back. You're saying we sacrifice him? Silence. The truth was clear. Alone with the darkness. Asterisk that night. Mahi lay awake, torn between love and terror. Olin slept or pretended to on the mat beside him. Asterisk, Mahi's mind raced. Could he fight Arjun without hurting Olin? Could love be enough? Or would he have to choose between his brother and everyone else? Then, Just as his eyes began to close, Olin whispered into the dark, "Don't let them kill me, Dada. Please, I don't want to die." Asterisk, his voice cracked. Frightened, the Olin Mahi knew. Asterisk Mahi turned, reaching for him asterisk, but, in the shadows, Olin's smile gleamed too wide, too cruel. Asterisk, and beneath that smile, another voice hissed. Asterisk, he begs with your brother's tongue, but soon, he won't need it. The cliffhanger asterisk Mahi pressed his fists to his temples, trembling. His brother was slipping through his fingers, becoming something else entirely. Asterisk, tomorrow Nandine would try to bind him. Asterisk, tonight. Mahi swore silently, he would find another way. He would not give up Olin. Asterisk, but outside, the wind carried a whisper that coiled through the house. Asterisk, blood will bind us, boy. Yours or his. The choice is yours. Asterisk, and in the darkness Olin's eyes opened burning gold. Part 8. The binding preparations asterisk at dusk. The house filled with the smell of burning sandalwood and bitter herbs. Aunt Nandini and 2 village priests drew a circle of red ash in the courtyard, marking it with symbols older than memory. Oil lamps flickered along the edges, their light dim against the looming shadows of the mansion. Asterisk Olin sat inside the circle, wrists bound loosely with cloth dipped in holy water. His eyes looked dull, unfocused, though every so often a flicker of gold rippled through his pupils. Asterisk Mahi stood just outside the circle, fists clenched so tightly his nails cut into his palms. Asterisk Nandini's voice was grim. This is our only chance. If we sever Arjun's tether now, Olin may yet survive. May. The word lodged like a stone in Mahe's throat. The first chance the priests began their low chants, voices rising and falling like waves. The air grew heavier, charged, as though the world itself leaned in to listen. Asterisk Olin twitched. His lips curled, muttering words that didn't belong to him. Asterisk, pathetic, a layered voice sneered through his mouth. You think ash and fire can unmake me? I have drunk deeper darkness than this. Asterisk, the lamps sputtered. One flame died. Asterisk Mahi stepped forward, but Nandini's hand shot out, blocking him. Stay back. If you cross the circle, the binding will fail. Asterisk, but he's hurting. Mahi protested. Asterisk, he is not the only one in there. Nandine hissed. The struggle inside asterisk Olin writhed, pulling at the bindings. His body convulsed as if 2 forces fought within his skin. For a moment his own voice broke through, gasping, Mahi, help me, don't let them. Then his head snapped back, laughter spilling from his throat. See, he begs. He clings to life. But every plea feeds me. Asterisk, the priests scattered grains of salt into the circle, chanting louder. Olin screamed, the sound tearing through the courtyard, rattling the windows of the mansion. Asterisk Mahi's chest ached. He wanted to rush in, to shield his brother from the pain. But Nandini's grip on his arm was iron. The direst warning asterisk. Mahi remembered the diary he had found, the words scrawled in crimson, through the youngest, I will rise. Asterisk, was this ritual even enough? Or was Arjun only using it to root himself deeper? Asterisk, Mahi's thoughts spun. If the priests severed Olin's soul from Arjun's, What if they tore his brother apart entirely? He couldn't let that happen. The breaking point, the chanting reached a fever pitch. Flames surged higher, casting grotesque shadows across Olin's twisting form. Then the ground trembled. From the well in the courtyard's center came a low groan, deep as thunder. The air turned icy, and the lamps flickered out all at once. Arjun's voice roared through Olin, "You cannot bind me. I am the blood of this house, the marrow of its stone. I am the well." The circle's red ash scattered in a sudden wind. The bindings snapped. Olin surged to his feet, eyes blazing gold, arms outstretched as if to embrace the storm. The priests staggered back in terror. One collapsed to the ground, clutching his chest. Nandine screamed, "Hold him, before it's too late." Mahe's choice, Mahi, lunged forward, straight into the broken circle. Nandine cried out, but he ignored her. He grabbed Olin by the shoulders, forcing him to meet his gaze. Oli, listen to me. You're not him. You're stronger than him. For a heartbeat. The gold flickered. Olin's true eyes shone through, wet with tears. Dada. I can't. Yes, you can. Mahi pressed his forehead against his brother's. He wants us divided. But we're together. Always. Arjun's laugh cut through, shaking the courtyard. Foolish boy. Every word you speak, I bend into chains. He will never be free. He chose me. No. Mahi shouted. He chose me. He's my brother, mine. The rift. The ground split near the well. Dark mist coiled upward, tendrils snaking toward Olin, wrapping around his legs like chains. Nandine raised her knife, a silver blade etched with symbols. Her face was twisted with grief. Mahi, move, she cried. If I strike now, we end this. Mahi's blood ran cold. End this. At what cost? Olin's body shuddered, caught between light and dark. His voice, both his and Arjun's, trembled. Dada, please. Mahi spread his arms, shielding his brother. You'll have to go through me. Nandina's eyes blazed with fury and despair. You don't understand. If we fail now, he will consume the boy entirely. Mahi shook his head, tears streaming down his face. Then I'll find another way. I won't let you kill him. The courtyard pulsed with darkness. The priests fell silent, fear choking them. And in that silence, Olin's laughter rang deep, layered, triumphant. The aftermath. The storm of energy abruptly ceased. The mist retreated back into the well. Olin collapsed into Mahi's arms, limp but breathing. His eyes fluttered open, brown again normal. Nandine staggered back, horror etched into her face. The binding failed. The seal is weakened. Arjun is closer than ever. Mahi cradled his brother, whispering fiercely, he's still here. I saved him. But as Olin's head rested against his chest, Mahi felt it, the faintest vibration in his brother's heartbeat. A rhythm too steady, too cold. A reminder Arjun wasn't gone. He was waiting, and now, shielded by Mahi's love, he had found a stronger anchor than ever before. Part 9. The bloom of darkness, a fragile normal * days passed. The storm had gone, the air was thick with late summer heat, and the village tried to return to its rhythms. But for Mahi, nothing felt normal. Olin moved differently now. He walked with strange assurance, his shoulders straight, every step deliberate. Sometimes he spoke with calm clarity far beyond his years. Other times, he stared too long at shadows, as if listening to voices only he could hear. Mahi told himself this was recovery, nothing more. That his brother was simply shaken from the ritual. But deep down, he felt the quiet hum of something else beneath. Olin's skin, something awake. The first power, it began with the dog. A stray had followed Mahi from the village. Wagging its tail, Olin crouched to pet it, smiling warmly. For a moment he looked like himself again. But then the dog whimpered, ears flattening, and bolted without reason. Olin stood, frowning. I didn't do anything. But Mahi had seen it, the way the air shimmered faintly around Olin's hand, like heat rippling off stone. And how, for just an instant, his eyes had flashed gold. Later that night, Mahi confronted him. Something happened with the dog. Pushed it away. Olin tilted his head. Maybe it just knew what you won't admit. That I'm not the same anymore. His smile curved strangely. And maybe that's not a bad thing. Mahi's chest tightened. The villagers' suspicion word spread faster than fire. Children whispered that they saw Olin standing by the well at midnight. His shadow taller than the wall behind him. Old men claimed crops withered where his bare feet touched the fields. When Mahi went to the market, voices hushed as he passed. Eyes avoided him. Finally, the headman approached Nandini at the temple steps. Mahi overheard the harsh whisper, you must rid the house of that boy. He carries the curse. If you will not, we will. Nandine argued, but her voice wavered. She too had seen the changes. Mahi clenched his fists. They couldn't see what he saw, the fragments of Olin that were still there, still human. But each day, those fragments slipped further away. The display one evening. As the sky bruised purple, the villagers gathered at the edge of the courtyard. Someone had spread the rumor that Olin was dangerous. That he had to be shown to them. Nandine tried to stop it, but the crowd pressed forward. Angry and fearful, Mahi stood by his brother's side, heart pounding. Stay calm. Don't do anything. Olin smirked faintly. Why, they should fear me, shouldn't they? Before Mahi could answer, a stone flew from the crowd, striking Olin's shoulder. Gasps rippled. Mahi lunged forward. Stop it. He's just a boy, but Olin didn't flinch. He turned his gaze toward the man who had thrown it. His eyes shimmered gold, and the stone in the man's hand crumbled into dust. The villagers screamed, stumbling back in terror. Mahi's breath caught. Ollie. What did you? Olin straightened, voice calm and cold. They wanted proof. I gave it. The rift with Nandini. That night, Nandini cornered Mahi in the hall. Her face was pale, her eyes hollow. He is no longer your brother, she said flatly. He is a vessel. Arjun grows inside him like a vine. If you let this continue, soon there will be nothing left to save. Mahi shook his head violently. No. You didn't see his eyes before the crowd. He was still in there. Scared, angry, but him. You're blind, Nandini hissed. And your blindness will damn us all. Her words cut deeper than any blade. The wells whisper that night. Olin slipped from his mat. Mahi, pretending to sleep, followed quietly. He watched his brother walk barefoot into the courtyard. The well loomed there, mouth black and yawning. Mist curled from its depths even though the night was dry. Olin stood at its edge, gazing down. He spoke softly, like to a parent, I can feel you. Stronger every day. Mahi's blood froze. Arjun's voice echoed faintly up the stones. Because you welcome me, child. Together, we will not be weak. Together, we will rule them all. Olin's lips trembled. But Mahihi won't let go. Then he must choose. His blood for mine. Brother against brother. That is the bond I hunger for. Mahi's gasp gave him away. Olin spun, golden eyes glowing in the dark. His voice cracked, caught between fear and hunger. You weren't supposed to hear. The confrontation Mahi stepped into the courtyard. I hear enough. He's poisoning you, Oli. Can't you see? He's twisting you against me. Olin's hands clenched. Shadows coiled faintly around his feet. What if he's right, though? What if I'm stronger with him? What if I don't have to be afraid anymore? You've never been weak, Mahi said fiercely. Not once. Not to me. For a heartbeat, Olin's eyes softened, brown breaking through gold. But then the well's mist surged, wrapping around him. Arjun's voice poured from his throat, blood for blood. Brother against brother. Only then will the seal break. Mahi's heart hammered. Was this the future? A choice between saving his brother and damning the world or killing him to save it. The cliffhanger Olin staggered forward, clutching his head. I don't want to hurt you, Dada, but sometimes I want to. His voice cracked, tears spilling down his cheeks. Mahi caught his arms, holding him tight. Then fight it. Fight him. I'm here. I won't leave you. Olin trembled, torn in half. For a moment, he collapsed against Mahi's chest like the little brother he once was. But over his shoulder. The well pulsed with a dull red glow. And in the silence. Arjun's laughter echoed. The bond tightens. Soon, one will bleed for the other. Part 10. The Siege, the Whispered Storm, by morning. The village no longer whispered, shouted. Word of the courtyard incident spread like wildfire. The men spoke of cursed blood, the women prayed in tight clusters. And children hurled stones at the mansion walls before being dragged away. Mahi watched from a window as the crowd swelled at the gates. Torches flickered even under the sun. Anger carried their voices. Banish him. Burn the vessel. End Arjun's curse before it spreads. Olin sat cross-legged behind him, calm, almost amused. They fear me, Dada, and fear is power. Asterisk Mahi turned sharply. It's not power, it's poison. They'll kill you if they can. Asterisk Olin tilted his head, lips curving faintly. Let them try. Nandini's ultimatum. Asterisk inside Nandini barred the doors with heavy wood, her face pale but resolute. She turned to Mahi, voice trembling but firm. Asterisk, you see now, she said. The village will not stop until he is gone. If you love him, you won't let them tear him apart. You'll let me end this swiftly. Asterisk no, Mahi shouted. He's my brother. He's still in there. Asterisk her eyes filled with sorrow. And if he isn't, asterisk Mahi's throat closed. He had no answer. Asterisk Olin chuckled from the corner. You see, Dada. Even she knows I'm lost. He leaned forward, golden eyes gleaming. But I'm not lost. I'm found. The first attack. Asterisk the sound of breaking glass shattered the room. A torch, flung through a window, tumbled across the floor, its flames licking at the rug. Asterisk Nani stamped it out with her shawl, coughing in the smoke. Outside, the roar of the mob rose higher. Asterisk, they've come, she whispered. They mean to drag him out. Asterisk Mahi rushed to bolt the shutters, heart pounding. We won't let them. Asterisk but Olin didn't move to help. He simply watched, eyes glowing faintly in the smoke. Why fight them? If they come, let them see what I am. Asterisk Mahi spun on him. And what are you, Ollie? Asterisk Olin smiled. Something they can't kill. The mob breaks in. Asterisk the gates cracked under the weight of the crowd. Men surged forward with sticks and sickles, women crying prayers behind them. Fear had become fury. The front doors shook as fists and shoulders slammed against them. Nandini clutched her blade, whispering mantras through clenched teeth. Mahi grabbed a staff from the corner, his hands trembling. Asterisk the wood splintered. A dozen men burst through, torches lighting the hall in violent orange. Asterisk there. One cried, pointing at Olin, the cursed boy. Asterisk Mahi stepped in front of his brother, staff raised. You'll have to go through me. Brother's power unleashed. Asterisk the villagers surged forward. Mahi swung his staff, knocking one back, but the sheer number overwhelmed him. Rough hands grabbed his arm, yanking him aside. Then the air itself cracked. Olin rose slowly to his feet. His eyes blazed molten gold. Shadows spilled from his body, coiling like smoke made solid. The torches guttered, then flared higher, bending toward him as if drawn by breath. Asterisk a man screamed, as his sickle turned red-hot in his grip, metal melting in his palm. Another collapsed, clutching his chest, as if invisible fingers squeezed his heart. Asterisk the crowd stumbled back. Terror replacing fury. Asterisk Olin's voice rang deeper than his own, layered with argins. You wanted the curse. Here it stands before you. Mahi's plea. Asterisk Mahi shoved free of grasping hands, rushing to his brother's side. Ollie, stop. Don't do this. Asterisk but Olin's gaze was fixed on the mob, lips curling in a cruel smile. Why should I stop? They came to kill me. Let them taste their fear, instead. Asterisk, you're not him, Mahi shouted, voice raw. You're not Arjun. You're my brother, Olin. Asterisk for a heartbeat. The gold dimmed. Olin's face twisted with conflict, his hands trembling as shadows writhed around them. Then, the voice inside him laughed, thunderous. Let them bleed, boy. Let them kneel. You were born for this. The turning point. Nandini stepped forward, blade raised. Her eyes burned with tears. Mahim, move aside. If we don't end this now, he'll slaughter them all. No, Mahi cried, spreading his arms wide. I won't let you kill him. The villagers, caught between fear of Olin and fury at their plight, began to retreat, dragging the injured with them. But their cries carried through the night. Demon. Monster. Burn the mansion down. The courtyard emptied, but the threat lingered. They would return stronger, more desperate. Olin stood in the doorway, watching them go, chest heaving with exhilaration. His eyes flickered brown again as he turned to Mahi. See. He whispered, almost childlike. They can't hurt me anymore. Mahi's heart broke. His brother sounded proud of the very thing tearing him apart. The rift deepens. Later. When the house was quiet again, Mahi found Olin sitting at the window, staring at the mist rising from the well. Do you hate me now? Olin asked softly. Mahi shook his head, kneeling beside him. Never, but you're scaring me, Oli. You're scaring everyone. Olin's hands curled into fists. Good. Let them fear me. I'm tired of being the weak one. You were never weak, Mahi said fiercely. You were the one who kept me human. Without you, I'd be nothing. For a moment, Olin's eyes shimmered brown, wet with tears. But then the gold returned, steady and unyielding. No, Dada, he whispered. Without him, I'd be nothing. Mahi's blood turned cold. The cliffhanger outside. The villagers' drums began to beat low, steady, ominous. Preparations for war. Inside. The mansion's shadows thickened, drawn toward Olin like moths to a flame. Mahi lay awake, torn in half. His brother was slipping further into Arjun's grasp. And now the village itself was ready to burn the house to the ground. He had sworn to protect Olin, but if it came to it, would he protect him from the villagers, or from himself? From the well, faint but clear, Arjun's voice whispered, Blood, boy. The bond tightens. Soon you must choose, his blood or yours.